Hi, welcome to Weekly Wisdom here with Damali at Forerunner Counseling. Today I'm going to talk to you about some of the tips that you can engage with if you want to live a fully productive life that is filled with meaning and purpose. These are some of the tips that you want to have. And again, like I said, I do have a course that I teach all of these things in detail. So if you're interested, just watch to the very end. So, a lot of people, the reason why I actually did this program is because so many people don't know what to do. If they're not sure if what they are doing is what they are called to do in life. And so they are questioning, what am I, is this my calling? Am I doing the right thing? Am I wasting energy on things that I shouldn't be wasting my energy with? So how do I know that this is what I'm called to do? So let me kind of give you a little bit of tips that you can try to engage with as you're beginning out or you've already started your journey. Um, the most important thing is to be honest. Be honest with yourself and also be honest with other people as much as possible that you can be. Be truthful to yourself. In other words, if you don't like talking to people, don't try to look for jobs being the salesperson because you don't like it. We are very uniquely different, and that's the point. Because of our uniqueness, our lives are very different. You've seen people that love numbers, like they love accounting, they like to do budgeting, and you've seen people who hate that. You've seen people who love justice and they love like legislation, they like all that stuff, and they are lawyers and they are law enforcers and they are politicians. We are different just like that. So the number one people a lot of people tend to engage with is to do things because it's popular. It's to do things because your family wanted you to do it. It's to do things because everyone is doing it. But you're not honest with yourself because what you like and what is accepted in society are two different things. So my encouragement to you is try to learn to be honest with yourself. And now in counseling, this is what they call develop a sense of self, meaning that you are centered as you, that your decisions are centered because this is you. My desires, my likes, my values, my beliefs may not necessarily be the same as yours, but it doesn't mean I'm wrong or I'm also I'm crazy. Acknowledge that to be okay. So, because when you're not honest with yourself, that means you're going to live a lie. And again, in one of my programs, I have that deception that we have a tendency to live in la la land and we deceive ourselves. There is a healthy version of being in denial. But if denial becomes a lifestyle, then that becomes a problem because you live in a lie. Okay? So that's number one. Number two, you want to have clarity of what you want. It's easy to say that I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life, but it's at the same time, you don't know what you want. So it becomes like complaining without finding a solution to your problem. So if I have clarity that in order for me to find my life to have meaning, I need to talk to strangers, or I need to talk to the least, the disadvantaged in my community, or the least of these in my community, or the homeless in my community, or the sick, whichever population or community that is drawn to you, or the kids, anything, as long as this is what you feel like you're not doing. Because again, in our unique differences, what is important to me may not be important to you. Like I've had people that have asked me, but Jamali, how you end up talking to people like for like in their issues, does it bother you? Do you take it with you at home? The answer is I don't take it with me at home. Why? Because I'm built to do this and I know the healthy way is to work with it without it destroying me. So if you're called to legislation, if you're called to law enforcement, if you're called to numbers, if you're called to work with people in any capacity, what that is, have clarity of what it is. So even in human services, we have social workers, we have therapists, we have psychologists, we have psychiatrists, we have so many people that are working with people in that effort of mental health, but in different forms. So you cannot just say that I want to help people in mental health. You need to clarify what that means to you, clarify the demographics you want to reach, clarify which branches of mental health you want to participate in so that you don't feel like it's vague, it's out in the hands, learn, because when you don't do that, then it's easy to just complain that I don't know what I'm supposed to do, right? The other thing that you want to learn to do is to have self-discipline, right? And when you don't have self-discipline, it's kind of like anything is up for grabs. You know, imagine if you're an athlete, maybe you've been signed on a basketball team or NFL team, and you have to go into the workouts. You know, your ability to function in a contract is dependent also on your ability to have the discipline to exercise. So you don't want to live a lie thinking that things are just going to happen randomly. Those things don't exist. You know, all the people that you see that have the results that you're looking for, or the things that you actually admire, it didn't happen in a vacuum. They started somewhere and they exercised certain disciplines to get to the level that they are in. So if you have a vision of what you want to attain, find the most important things you need to do so that you can basically find the routines that are going to get to that space. Okay. That could be reading, that could be exercising, that could be socializing, that could be it could be anything, but you have to have the discipline, self discipline to attain the things that you think you need to attain. Other than that, you're gonna feel like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. It comes easy. And even like, as I work with people on, counseling setting, one of the reasons why people seek counseling is they don't feel like they have goals, or they don't know how to develop habits, or they don't know how to get motivated. And sometimes there's so many layers that are attached to all these things. That's why for those of you who are curious mostly about finding meaning in life, I do have a course that you can be a part of. But the most important thing is you have to know what discipline is to you. Discipline could be not going to bed at noon, at midnight, or waking up at noon. Discipline may look like going to school or getting a certificate or whatever that is, but you have to know there is no way you're going to be living a purposeful life and having no disciplines at all, because this thing does not happen randomly. And I think for some of you, maybe that don't know my story, the reason for me that got me awakened into this reality that I was almost dying in a place where I realized that I had wasted my time. But where did it go? I didn't think about it. I never put any effort to be intentional in how I was living. And I was just going through the motions of life, doing what everyone is doing and thinking that, yeah, I'm doing something with it. But no, if they're not disciplines in your life, do not assume, I'm using the athletic example, don't assume you're going to run like Usain Bolt without practicing anything. And you cannot practice if there are no disciplines in your life. So whatever you want to attain, just know that there are certain disciplines you have. Now, if you're struggling to create that, then you can seek help, Father help, that we can help you to do that. The other thing you want to do is setting goals. This is another reason why people come to counseling. If you don't have goals, life is just moving along just for the sake of moving along, right? So if I have financial goals, and this is very easy, I think, to take, like, you want to buy a car, you want to buy a home, you want to buy this, there are financial realities that you need to have, right? So when it comes to our lives, it's very interesting how we don't plan for those things. We don't set goals for our lives. We know we want to be in a relationship, but we don't even know with who and how, And these are things that really, really have a huge impact on our lives. So if you set goals, you kind of have an action step of how you're going to navigate those areas so that you feel like you're moving in a good direction as opposed to just going through the motions. So set goals. We have financial goals, we have relationship goals, we have emotional goals, like I know that I get angry and I need to know how to be more even feel, more tempered, or how to manage my anger. I'm so loud, I'm aggressive. Whatever your challenges may be, set goals and attain them. Make sure that they are attainable. Don't set unrealistic goals. Like I want to be a millionaire. Okay, start somewhere, but that could be a good vision, a long-term goal. It could be a long-term vision and goal, but start somewhere. If you don't have a job and you want to be a millionaire, have a creative idea or look for a job, whatever that situation is. But Captain, meaningful goals, not just for the sake of it. This is very crucial. I think the reason why most people find themselves purposeless in life is because they have detached from themselves. That was me. Again, like when I was almost dying, I was lying on that bed thinking, what, I've not done anything with my life, Because I was so detached from it that I was just following what everyone was doing. Go to school, get educated, get married, have children. That's how life is supposed to go. But when you're in those final moments, at least for me, I realized that I wasn't even living the scary thing. I wasn't even, what I thought was living was not the way I could have. I had never remembered taking time to take any risks in my life where something became meaningful in my life. And they always say the things that you're going to find dear to your life are the things that took you so much courage and so much risks to do, because those things hold too much value for you. And so when you don't do those things, then you're gonna feel like, oh, life is a blur. Again, take risks. And many of you are in positions where you know maybe you need to change careers, maybe you need to change job, maybe your relationship needs to go into a different direction. You know that that has to be done, but you don't know if you're ready to take that step. And I guarantee, I totally understand. I've been in many places where I had to make those transitions, make those changes, and the amount of emotional and mental energy it takes to make those courageous decisions is not a walk in the park. But if you've never done it before, you can start somewhere. For those of you that have done it before, you realize it's like a muscle that you exercise that keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And the more you do it, the more you get comfortable. And you're actually looking forward to the next risk, even if you know it's going to take a lot of courage. Because life can sometimes it gets stale. Like it seems like it's been same old, same old, same old, same old for the past God knows how long, and you know that something's gotta change. And sometimes the change is you taking that risk and get out of your comfort zone and jump and find things on the other side, and it will be great as long as you know how to do those risks. You get there. So sometimes a lot of people are stuck in life just because they are afraid to take risks. And I have had students in my class that have struggled with risk taking because you kind of, you know how the picture that's coming or the image that's coming into my mind is like, the room needs to be cleaned, but you rearrange the furniture instead of actually cleaning the room. That's what most people do with their lives. They rearrange relationships without realizing maybe this relationship needs to end, or maybe I need to do this about this in my life and take the courageous step to maybe end the relationship or start the relationship, whichever way that is. But a lot of people are afraid to take risks. And I do understand that's why in community settings or in relationships, we are able to make such difficult changes when we have people around us. And sometimes those changes can happen in your relationships with others, and sometimes they happen in therapy. Therapy can help you to transition. I've made so many changes when I'm working with a therapist because I knew that change had to be made, but I needed someone to help me to know that I'm not crazy, that this change is going to happen. Because to some people, it may look like this is too good to be true. Are you crazy? But in the inside, you know that this is not for me or whatever the situation may be. And so sometimes you need someone to walk alongside with you to support you in that decision that you're not crazy and you're not losing it, you know? So if you're in that space right now, I totally get it, but don't suffer through it alone because you could waste so much time. You could spend 10 years, or 5 years, or even, you don't want to lose even a moment, but I understand, but do something about it. Okay? So the other thing you can do in your journey to try to live meaningfully is to try to align with people who are doing things that you like to do. If you want to be an engineer, right? Find them. Find the people who are doing the things that you're already doing and participate with them. Don't allow yourself to think that you're going to reinvent the wheel. The wheel is already invented. You don't have to start all over again. You don't have to start brand new, starting afresh. When there are people already who are doing it, like even person counseling, like you could easily get overwhelmed. There's so many modalities in how you can help someone. I thought it was just me, but every time I talk to a therapist, I mean, have you heard about this? Have you heard about this therapy? And everyone is like, no, I need to check this. You're always learning things because you want to get better at what you're doing. And so if you want to be meaningful, you have to keep updated. You know how we get these phones and software things and they're always updated, update. Update your skills, update your relationship, update the people that you're socializing with so that you don't feel like you're stuck in the same place because of the same routine. Nothing has changed at all. Hang out with people who are new in the field as much as people who are veterans in the field that you're in. Be curious. Let your mind be curious to know more information so that you don't feel stuck. Okay. And the other thing that most people tend to not do when they are, again, trying to live meaningfully or purposefully is that they think someone is going to come from the sky, someone is just going to come and tell them what they're supposed to do. How many people believe that to be true? Like you literally wait for someone to tell you that this is what you're supposed to do, and then you just do it, you know? It doesn't work like that. You change. The person that I was 15 years ago is not the same person that I am today. There are so many changes that have happened, good and bad, but you keep evolving. So if you're not mindful of those things, many people are stuck because they are waiting for what used to be instead of realizing they can go forward with something new. And so they feel stuck, they feel frustrated, they feel exhausted and not measuring up, and everyone is passing them by, not because they have to, it's because that they have not given themselves permission to see how they have changed and how the vision used to be like re-envisioned. Okay. So you have long-term, you have short-term goals, but you also want to see if my long terms are still the same, if they are no longer the same. So, for example, I personally would love to live in California, right? That is one of my greatest desires. Sometimes I say, I don't care if I have to give that, the aspect will take me into the Pacific. I'm like, I'll be okay, but I'll be in California because that's how badly I love that state. Anyway, we can leave the other things aside, but I love California. I think it's such a beautiful state. And so that's a long-term goal. I'm not going to spend my days on a daily routine killing myself for where I'm not living in California. No, it's a long-term goal. I don't lose sleep over it. Know what your short-term and long-term goals are so that you can be flexible if you need to change them. So maybe a time may come and say, maybe I need to move to another state. It's up for change, but at the same time, they are short-term and long-term goals, okay? And that's another thing. Also, you can learn how to rest. You can learn how to have fun. You know, if you're too intense, I used to be so intense. I used to scare people off because I used to be very intense, very serious. Like, oh my God, don't waste your time. Which you should not waste your time, but the world is not coming to an end like right now. That you can find time to relax. You can find time to spend with friends and family. You can develop relationships. So don't isolate yourself so that you're thinking that if I isolate myself, that means I'm living purposefully. You may never come out of that isolation because you may end up being depressed and never being able to get out of it. So learn how to have fun, have recreational activities that make you feel alive, travel, read, hobbies, skydiving, scuba diving, whatever works for you, but try to mix that in your routines of life so that there is some fun, you know, so that everything is not just intense all the time. And then you also have to understand that you have to be intentional. Nothing again happens in a vacuum. Be intentional in how you live. And this is something for me that has been very crucial in my journey. So my encouragement to you as you're journeying through this is that you're going to experience ups and downs in life, whereby some days you feel like it's going good and some days it's not. But be intentional. Just because yesterday you had a bad day doesn't mean that today has to be a bad day. Be intentional. Get yourself back on the path of where you want to go, and just be vigilant with it. Don't quit. Don't stop. Again, for many of you that are not subscribed to my channel, I just want you to subscribe so that you can get notification every time there is a new update or video. And for those of you that are interested in more information about living in purpose, go to my website, send me an email, find me on my social media platform. My website is www.forerunnercounseling.com. Send me a message, tell me that you're interested in the course. And I would like to get some comments in the comments below. Please comment, forward it to a friend, and let me know some of the topics you'll be interested in me sharing with you here today on my weekly wisdom with Damali. And I'll be more than glad to give you my insight. So again, thank you so much. And I'll see you next week. Thank you.